Could everyone have a seat, please? Good evening. Good evening. There you go. That's called a call and response for folks that are familiar with the historical church. And that means that this is going to be engaging spiritual meeting tonight also. So my name is Rashad Birdsong. I'm serving as the convener this evening of the Homewood Community Development Collaboration. This is a wonderful evening. Tonight we are here only to share our progress. We are here to invite other Homewood institutions to join our effort. However, before we get started, I'd like to introduce our coalition members and have them have a brief statement of their relationships to the coalition and also their organization. To the right, we first going to introduce Diane Swan. Diane.
We all have a lot on our plates. We have our families. We have our work. Should I hold it? Can I just touch that? Okay. Can everybody hear?
Yes.
Thank you. We all have a lot of responsibilities, and as community laborers, we have a larger responsibility because we work with some of your children, your elders, and other people. So at Rosedale, we first got involved because there were probably about 2,000 lots, and that's where a lot of the crime originated. So we tried to take the opportunity away from the criminal element, which happened to be some of my cousins, my uncles, and some of yours too. And but actually to give our families a cleaner environment. So we started cleaning lots, then we identified and repurposed a couple facilities, initiated the first early childhood program, center-based activities, first landscaping, agriculture, horticulture programs, and we continue to do those things today. So we thank you so much for coming out. We continue to work with our community, but it will take all of us because it's not going to just happen. Yeah. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to introduce Ms. Dana Free Blackwell, founder and executive director of Homewood Renaissance Association.
Good evening, and thank you for coming to join us in this celebratory time to celebrate the community coming together as individuals, as organizations, to transform the community with the community, for the community. It's an honor to be a part of pioneers and veterans of community and economic development, and Homewood Renaissance Association is glad to play a part in its workforce development, youth summer employment, and also rehabs to resale of homes. Thank you.
Next, we have Reverend Cheryl Fuller, founder and executive director of Homewood Concerned Citizens Council.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank the community and the residents for coming out. I want to thank the community and the residents for looking to the Homewood Concerned Citizens Council to be a voice in leading the community in civic awareness, public safety, and economic development in our community. It's a great opportunity for the residents, as the mayor has always said, as our city leaders have always said, that the residents should be the first partaker and should lead. And so I thank you for giving the Homewood Concerned Citizens Council the opportunity to do that. I thank you for allowing me to be the executive director of the council. Homewood Concerned Citizens Council began 2 years ago with a project around the Animal Rescue League. We worked with the residents on Hamilton, Kelly, Dallas, Avenues, and the 12th and 8th Ward and the 13th and 1 Ward of the city of Pittsburgh. So it's an honor to work with the residents. It is so great to see so many of you in those districts that are out here tonight. I want to thank you for allowing the Homewood Concerned Citizens Council to speak for you, to meet with you, and to engage in economic development in Homewood.
Next, we have Ms. Paulette Davis, Secretary of the Save Race Street Committee.
Good evening. On behalf of the Save Race Street Committee, a group of all volunteer residents that live on all 5 blocks of Race Street, we thank you for your support in coming out. This is a wonderful turnout. We are pleased to be part of the Homewood Community Development Collaborative. We are a group of concerned residents that take our volunteerism seriously. We put our money where our mouth is. Most of the projects that we've done on Race Street have been funded by the residents of the street. We've been in partnership with the city of Pittsburgh for taking possession of at least 7 empty lots that we've beautified. We've developed a raised garden bed in the 7400 block. We've done some building projects in a relationship with Rebuilding Together Pittsburgh, and we've done some initial developmental planning with the Urban Redevelopment Authority. We ask that you stop by our table, look at our display, look at the first draft of our vision that we had developed for the year 2020, and we encourage you to continue to participate in this community building process.
Next, we have the Reverend Dr. Sam Ware, Founder and Executive Director of Building United of Southwestern Pennsylvania.
Good evening, welcome, and thank you all for being here. Building United of Southwestern Pennsylvania is a faith-based ecumenical organization that was created with the mission to help people who have low to moderate incomes become homeowners. And we were created with the impetus and assistance of Dr. Howard Schlatter, who at that time was the director of the Pittsburgh Partnership Office for Fannie Mae. So our name says Building United of Southwestern Pennsylvania. And our board was initially made up of either bishops or the representatives of 9 different denominations. And when we looked at where we could have the most impact, where there was the biggest need, we said, well, there's Wilkinsburg and there's Homewood. And we decided that Homewood was the place to start. So we've been fortunate that we were able to purchase some property at auction from HUD. They're the Faison School. We built over there 14 houses, and we sold all of them. We've had as many as 3 or 4 buyers for each house. And we just finished a project on Finance Street, and we've had more buyers than we've had houses. And so we have been very fortunate to have that success and be able to be part of a coalition of intelligent, hardworking, honest, and committed people to collectively come together and pull our resources, pull our brain power, pull our experience to take this community to the next level. These 7 people who are here represent over 200 years of community activism and development. That should get us some applause. When you get 7 people for 200 years collectively who have said we're all going to focus on not ourselves and our organization, but what's best for the community, it's an honor and a privilege to be part of that. And I want to thank each of the collaborative members, as well as our councilman, Reverend Burgess, our state representative, Ed Gainey, Mr. Rubenstein from the URA, and the mayor, and the county executive, all of those who have pledged to support this effort. Because even before it became the slogan, we knew and understood that Black Lives Matter. So we're working together to do what's better for this community, and we thank you for the opportunity. We encourage you to become part of a committee, because we need your input, we need your brain power, we need what you bring, so we can continue to move this forward based on what you as residents want. So I'm very happy and proud to be part of this effort. Thank you.
Mr. Jerome Jackson, Executive Director of Operation Better Block.
So good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out to our first event as a collaborative. Operation Better Block is probably one of the oldest organizations in the community. We've been working in Homewood since, we were incorporated in 1970, started in 1968. OBB, Operation Better Block, has been moving ever since to help whatever ails the community of Homewood. Currently, our contribution to the collaborative is really through what started Operation Better Block, through community organizing and block by block relationship building with residents. As a result of that, we completed the cluster plan. And so our contribution to the big comprehensive plan of Homewood is a land use plan called the cluster plan. They're over at our table, you can take a look at them. And they're also online on our website. And so what we want to do is help move this community forward as being part of this collaborative. And then starting to look at other things like safety. You know, we want a great community, but we got to deal with safety. We got to deal with some things here in the neighborhood. And as a collaborative, I think that's what our job is. We deal with safety, our education system. We got to have good schools. If we want people to come and buy houses in our neighborhood, they got to have something that, you know, something that's going to bring them here. We got to have some amenities, like some good schools. So as we continue to work together, I think, you know, as a result of that, we have a really great turnout, and this is just the start of what we're going to do here. And as long as we continue to do that kind of work as a collaborative and as a group, we're going to be very successful, and Homewood is going to be the Homewood that everybody wants to see. So what I'm looking for, what we're looking for, is a new way of doing things, not the old way, but really looking at a new way of engaging residents on all levels to be part of the process and the rebuilding of Homewood. So, thank you.
And myself, Rashard Birdsong, CEO and President for Community Empowerment Association. Thank you. The Homewood Community Development Coalition Collaborative has a commitment to assuring that the residents of Homewood will shape the future of our community. Our unshakable commitment is to ensure that Homewood residents achieve long-term benefits, all community development improvements initiatives. The definition of success for our collaboration is greater than the 7 organizations working together. True success involves the participation from the community at large, including government, public, and private entities. We believe that all Homewood-based organizations and businesses should have an opportunity to join in our efforts. We encourage you will interact with the 7 community leaders who have worked extremely hard for over a year to establish the Homewood Community Development Coalition Collaborative. All of the members and lead organizations that have solid records of success. The 7 founding partners recognize we cannot do the massive work of community building by ourselves. Our success through the present date has been supported by the political leaders in our community. Let's give a hand for Representative Ed Gainey. Councilman Reverend Ricky Burgess. Mayor Bill Peduto. And in addition, the broader political support includes the county executive, Rich Fitzgerald, State Senator Jay Costa, and Congressman Mike Doyle. It is also important to acknowledge the work done by Dan Paul, a representative of Westminster Presbyterian Church in Upper St. Clair. Dan has coordinated the engagement of several communities of faith. In addition to prayer, Dan's work has resulted in $1 million being pledged to the seed of a growth fund that will be created to fuel the growth of projects serving in the Homewood community. Let's give that a hand. Our community have an immediate need for quality, affordable housing and access to financial resources to spur business startup. The Homewood pamphlet that is being distributed is also an example of Dan's commitment. Again, let's give him a hand. Dan Paul. Where's Dan Paul at? Dan, stand up, please. Stand up. Let's give him a hand. We are very supportive of opportunities for diverse communities of faith to work together. There are many faith leaders in our community who can add great value to our efforts. I would also like to acknowledge the work of Mr. Ron Porter. Ron, where you at? Let's give Ron a hand. In his role as a consultant to the collaborative, he has been a valuable contributor to our success. Ron Porter. We also like to acknowledge ELDI, Mayling Myers, who's going to give us technical assistance also. Where's Mayling at? Mayling Myers, give her a hand. ELDI has done some great work in the East End. Another organization that is set to work with the collaboratives is Neighborhood Allies. Anyone? Shad, raise your hand. Neighborhood Allies. Let's give them a hand. The young boys on the block, Neighborhood Allies. New houses and buildings will be visible sign of positive community development, but the bricks and mortars are far less important than the benefit of the 6,000 people in Homewood. New structures that enrich people outside of our community are no longer just acceptable. There is an unquestionable need to enhance resources to confront the unacceptable high levels of unemployment in our community. Youth in our community must be provided with the tools to achieve enhanced levels of human and spiritual development. Spiritual and intellectual growth is disincentive for violence. Homewood residents must benefit from all development that occur in our community. We know that Homewood is often identified as being dangerous, poverty-ridden, and unworthy of investment. Despite the perception and image manufactured about Homewood, we are a community of strength, demonstrated by our strong community and faith-based organizations, our Homewood athletic teams, our business growth, CCAC, YMCA, and many other long-term institutions in this community, as well as the collaborative effort to work together for the betterment of Homewood as we see today. All of this in spite of the deterioration of services, both public and private, for the Homewood community. Homewood does not seek charity. Homewood seeks the same things that all striving communities desire, which includes successful, authentic opportunities for residential, commercial, and educational areas of growth. There is much that can be done. The collaborative expects to establish partnerships with foundations, private lenders, and other public and private partners to achieve a meaningful, measurable development outcomes throughout Homewood. HCDC's work will be concentrated on creating projects of scale that have broad community benefits under community and economic development. Community benefits such as workforce development and training, including Section 3 residential hiring, affordable housing that meets the low-income residents of our community, MWDBE business opportunities, and entrepreneurship and business development. The goal is for Homewood-based residents and businesses to have access to long-term benefits from the development in Homewood. The Homewood Community Development Collaborative is committed to assuring that the current community residents do not experience displacement resulting from new housing stock. Whenever practical, we support rehabilitation of the existing housing stock. Community residents must have an opportunity to establish businesses and have access to employment opportunities resulting from large-scale community development. The ACDC is committed to providing all Homewood youth with a pathway to live and prosper in a stable, violence-free community. The Homewood Collaborative will soon be seeking responses from consulting firms locally and nationally to facilitate the development of a comprehensive community plan. It is anticipated that many in this room will play a vital role in shaping the future of Homewood through membership in planning committees. In addition to identifying best practices nationally, the selected firms will review and select best strategies from Homewood-based plans created over the past several years. The plans to be considered for integration and proposed action steps include OBB Cluster Plan, Bridgeway to Busway, Homewood Trib Study, CEA Urban Agenda, HBCCO Community Plan, and HRA Community Strategy. The Homewood Faith Community provides support to thousands of Homewood residents. It is anticipated that leaders from the faith community will be of great value in helping to execute the comprehensive community master plan for Homewood. We anticipate joining with organizations like the Allegheny Conference to identify opportunities to establish businesses within our community that provide employment opportunities for residents. We're also supporting efforts to help Homewood residents to start their own businesses. This evening is a time for celebration. It is also a time for coming together to affirm our commitment to guiding Homewood to new heights of greatness. If your community is interested, organization interested in joining the collaborative, please fill out a membership form. You will be contacted within the week. The membership forms are to my left and to your right. We want to make sure, because a lot of us have been through this here several times before. I myself have worked on several community plans over the last 22 years. But unfortunately, we have not had the willingness, the political willingness, the private and public willingness to come together and invest in this here community. So the community have to take the lead at this here. We have to stay engaged. We have to make sure that whatever your specific interest is, whatever your talent is, whatever your competencies is, that you engage in this here process by signing up and being involved. Please take time to visit each table also and speak to the leaders of these organizations that form the collaboratives. This work that we're doing today is not new. Most of the people to the right of me been doing this here 20 and 30 years plus. So there's a lot of effort in this here room that have worked together over the years, despite, the manufacturing that Homewood residents and Homewood organizations don't get along. It's just a matter of what type of investments that we're going to get in our community. We need some meat on the bones to be able to do the work that we need to do in this community. Now I would like to bring forward real quickly and introduce some of our invited guests. I'd like to ask a question for each to respond to. How do you see the vision of Homewood actually being actualized? The first guest I'd like to bring to the podium is our Representative Ed Gainey.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Good. First and foremost, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody that's here tonight for coming out for a couple reasons. One is I believe that this is a great beginning. I want to thank these organizations right here because, we've always had a myth out there about Homewood Brushing, right? Like, we can't work together. We can't come together and all we do is fight. But we know that that's not true, and through the years we have proved it over and over and over that that lie is not true, but yet people still try to use it against us. But today, for the last 8, 9, 10 months, probably going on close to a year now, this group has been together, and I think they deserve a great big hand for coming together and working together. It also takes political leadership. And I'd like to thank the mayor, Bill Peduto, for being instrumental in saying that this would be the group that they would work with to get projects done. Rashad was right. We needed that and we received it. I want to thank the city councilman, Ricky Burgess, for his efforts to be at the table and continue to push for the plans to make sure that we're getting our fair share. I want to thank the URA for coming out and saying, listen, we're going to work with this group, even to a point where we discussed at the last board meeting, and Rob Rubenstein is here, that this group right here should be the group that helps select what architects, what engineers, and whoever else is going to do work in this community in order for us to make sure that it's community driven. This is the group that has to have input. See, the reality is we got to work our community. So what do I mean by work our community? First, we have to have events like this so that we can inform the community of what is going on and give you an opportunity to ask questions so we can inform you. And what we don't know, give us a chance to bring it back. But here's what we need you, community. At this point right here, it's not how we attack one another, it's how we engage one another to bring a community back to where it has been. We want to bring it back to what we remember. That's one way we work the community. The second way we work the community is that we have to supply jobs for people in our community. We have to make sure that people have an opportunity to go to work. This is the beginning of saying, listen, if you want real diversity, come to Homewood and help us diverse by making sure that the money looks diverse and that we're getting a part of the bigger picture to help grow Homewood forward. That's the second way we work our community. And the third way that we work our community is us. It's us. We have to come together. We have to continue to tell this whole city that we won't rest until we get what's best. And that's a new Homewood that we can be proud of. We won't rest until we get what's best. But we can't do that if it's only these 7 people in the elected body. We can't do that unless they see the people just like today so that they can run downtown, so that they can tell the media that Homewood is ready and prime and entering change because the community is present. Together we can get it done. I told y'all before, my promise is if we work together, we can change this community. It's game time and let's do it.
I think Representative Gainey, Mrs. Carney, probably should have been a Baptist preacher. Thank you, Ed. Let's give Ed another hand. Great young up-and-coming leader that's representing this community. I'd like to next bring to the podium Reverend Councilman Ricky Burgess.
It's good to see everybody here tonight. As all of you know, I'm from Homewood. I graduated from this grade school. Father Taylor, where you at? I saw Father Taylor over here. I had to get his permission to marry my wife, who's from Ottawa Street. And I've been here all my life. I've been the pastor for the last 31 years of the Nazarene Baptist Church around the corner. And for the last 8 years, and because of your generosity, another 4 years, I'll be the council person for this district. I told you 8 years ago we would rebuild Homewood. I promised you that I would spend every waking moment to rebuild Homewood. Now we've had chance, it wasn't Homewood's time, so we had to go to other places first. We've been able to rebuild Larmer. If you've been to any of the KBK homes that are over in Larmer, you'll see a fantastic development, and it's going to be augmented with 400 new units. But we've been working for Homewood. Now, one of the things that I don't want you to miss this moment. All of the most influential people who decide how development comes is in the room tonight. Representative, you saw County Executive Rich Fitzgerald here tonight. The director of the URA, the chairman of the board of the Housing Authority, the police chief was here, is still here in the back. You see the president of CCAC here. You see some of the major players in our city here tonight. They didn't just show up to be showing up. Homewood has been picked as the new place to do development. The mayor of the city of Pittsburgh has made a pledge that he wants to rebuild this community. This is our time now. I want everybody to look somebody in the eye. Come on, look somebody in the eye. Repeat after me. We're rebuilding Homewood now. Pick to someone on the other side. Come on the other side. We're rebuilding Homewood now. It's time to be busy. It's time. Now listen. One of the things, for those of you who have not been through this process before, you may not understand how it works, so I'm going to make this very clear. Planning, development follows planning. Planning is the first step. The elected officials have done what we're supposed to do. This group has come together representing the community. They've done what they're supposed to do. They brought in Maylene Myers, who's one of the nation's expert on development. We have a philanthropist who've pledged over $1 million and pledged to raise more. Hopefully, we're trying to raise scores of millions of dollars. So the planning is the first stage, but it is not the last stage. Development is going to follow the planning. In fact, development is happening even right now. Because we can't wait for the plan to get over for new houses, can we? We can't wait for the plan is over to get new jobs, can we? We can't wait for the plan is over to get new stores, can we? We can't wait for the plan is over for our kids to have better schools, can we? We have to start this stuff right now. We need new houses right now. We need new businesses right now. We need a safer community right now. So it's twofold. There's two things we're going to do, and we're going to need you to do it with us. One is we're going to have to build new houses right now. Right now, right now, and we can't build 4 or 5. When you heard Rashad talk about scale, that means we need to build 40, 50 houses at a time. We have to build scale. And then the second thing we have to do is once we have the community plan together for long-range development, we have to hold everybody accountable to that plan. Because we have workers here that can build it, right? We have architects here that can build it, right? We have construction workers here that can build it, right? We have to get our fair share. Because we've been here through the rough times, we decide we deserve to get part of the good times. I have been here all of my life. I remember Homewood Avenue. I won't go down memory lane and tell you about Murphy's 5 and 10, right? Big John's department store, May's drugstore. Do I have to go there? I can go there, right? We had 2 bakeries. Remember when old man Herman Stougate in the alley? Come on, somebody. And the record stop, and Belmore Theater, and Mel Scoop the Barber on Frankstown around the corner, and the Dairy Queen I can go there. I've been here all of my life, and I'm going to be buried in Homewood Cemetery. I'm not going anywhere. But I promise the Lord, before I die, I want to see a rebuilt Homewood. I have never been more excited than I am tonight. I am just excited. We are on the cusp of something spectacular. I am grateful for everyone coming tonight, but this is not the end. This is the first step. We're going to keep on doing this until new houses come up. I'm sorry. I'm emotional tonight. If anybody believes in the Bible, maybe just me, I believe in the book. And there's a story in the book about the people of God marching around the walls of Jericho. They didn't have any money. They couldn't beat the enemy, but they walked around the walls of Jericho. They walked around one time for 6 days. On the 7th day, they walked around 7 times, and then when they shouted, the walls came tumbling down. I want you to know it's shouting time. You want to see houses rebuilt? Start shouting now. You want to see our kids get better jobs? Start shouting now. You want to see things done better? Start shouting now. This is shouting time. I'm going to keep shouting until God does what he said he'll do.
Let the community say amen. Reverend Councilman Ricky Burgess. Thank you, Reverend. Now we're going to bring to the podium a gentleman that's reaching beyond just the Homewood community. And that's something I'd like to also plant into this here gathering this evening, that we have to look beyond the boundaries of our neighborhood. You have a lot of neighborhoods within this here city, particularly in East End, that's being subjected to the same type of conditions that Homewood is being subjected to. We have to also be able to understand what regional planning is also. We have to reach beyond the boundaries of Homewood and connect with our brothers and sisters in Lincoln and Leamington, connect with our brothers in Garfield, Bloomfield, East Hills. We got to create the groundswell that's going to bring these type of resources. And this is going to advance our community, low-income communities, to be able to be part of this here economic boom and this renaissance here that's going on in the city. But now, without any further ado, I'd like to bring this gentleman to the pulpit. I have had the opportunity to talk with him and meet with him on several occasions. He's been given leadership to Allegheny County. He's been going through it. He's been hitting the ground. He's been engaged in the community. He's been at different meetings that I've been to. Let's bring to the podium the Allegheny County Exec, Richard Fitzgerald. Let's give him a hand.
I'm supposed to follow Reverend Burgess and Representative Gainey. Thank you, Rashad. I really needed that. They got everybody going, and for a good reason, because there are a lot of good things happening in this region and things that are happening in Homewood. But like Reverend Burgess and Representative Gainey said, our best days are just ahead of us now. We're just starting a process in which you can see momentum heading in the right direction. And it really is because the community is coming together. Thank you. Thank you for coming together, all these groups that decided to do that, and they do. They deserve a great hand. And you do see the players that are here tonight. Robert Rubenstein from the URA, Ed, who wears two hats, being on the board, as well as obviously being the state representative. I see some of our key developers, no pun intended, Keith Keys, one of the key developers. But you see that the Oxfords are here, the Ridgeway Capitals, who are building and investing in this community. Community college is a big part of it. Dr. Bullock and his leadership and the great job he's doing. Yeah, give Dr. Bullock a hand. He's one of the real stars who came to this community to lead a great institution. And that busway right behind us is a big part of what's going on. That is really leading a lot of development, because the transportation and the access to the jobs. You can be in downtown Pittsburgh from that Homewood station in about 8 minutes. Can't do that in a car. Can't do that in just about anything, but that busway gets you there if you're working in town or you're working in Oakland. So that access and that connectivity that we have is a big part of it. And as the county, you know, we're partnering. We're partnering with the city. And you got to give Mayor Peduto a lot of credit. Mayor Peduto has 90 neighborhoods in the city of Pittsburgh. I don't know if any of you were at his inauguration, the night he won the election. He had his victory party right here in Homewood. Not any of the other 89. He came right here to Homewood to have his and you see Chief McClay here and Valerie McDonald Roberts, the head of the Housing Authority. So you see the key players that are invested from the city. Reverend Burgess has been leading this at the council level. We see Representative Gainey, the work he's doing in Harrisburg, bringing back the resources, providing that transportation that leads that folks, the busway and the development that's happening around there. And we're going to continue working with all of our partners. But the one thing I can tell you, because as I said, 90 neighborhoods in the city, and there's 130 other municipalities in the county that we deal with. The ones that are the most successful are the ones who come together, work together, and come out in the kind of numbers that we see here tonight. So I want to congratulate all of you. It's a beautiful night. Summer's coming to an end. People could be out having at picnics or, you know, enjoying their family, but they're here working. You're here working, investing in your community. And that's what we're going to do with you. We're going to be side by side, providing the transportation, providing the training that the community college can bring right here to the Homewood campus or any of our campuses that you might avail yourselves, so we can provide the ability for people to access those jobs. We have 25,000 jobs in this region right now that are unfilled. We need people that have the skills to be able to fill those jobs. And that's what community college and our great technical institutions can do. What's happening on Susquehanna Street at the old Westinghouse plant, that 5-story building up the street that Ridgeway Capital is investing in, teaching people a trade that they can go out and do the work, that they're the ones in this community that will be building the buildings, building the housing stock that we know are coming, building the apartment buildings, the office buildings, the development, the commercial institutions that are coming. We're glad to partner. We also have great partners. I mentioned Representative Gainey, Senator Costa. I see from Senator Costa's office in the back, and Congressman Doyle. Paul D'Alessandro here from the Congressman's office. We've got the federal, the state, the city, the county on the government side. We got the community groups working together. We got the neighborhood groups working together. We have you in the community investing in this. We got all the pieces. Let's get it done. Thanks.
Thank you. we had a guest, or have someone represent the mayor's office, rather. The mayor has expressed that he had some other business and there was conflict in his schedule. But whenever we had asked Mayor Peduto to come and be part of our community, he has been here. But he has sent someone in his place that's been part of this community as long as I can remember. She's been a former board member on the school board. She's been a former council member, and she got a good understanding of what's going on in our community in Homewood. Valerie McDonald, let's give her a hand, please.
Thank you, Rashad. And I can't tell you how many times I have been here because Rashad had the vision to acquire property in this area that could even accommodate meetings like this. There have been numerous meetings and convening of people in this community. And I think we need to give Rashad Birdsong a hand for his vision throughout the years. Thank you, Rashad. It's nice to have this kind of facility to do this. Again, as Mr. Birdsong had said, unfortunately, Mayor Peduto was not able to be here. He does have scheduling conflicts all through, I think, about 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight. He's had a busy day. But I would just hope that you would have me ingratiate you with some remarks that he would have had he been here. First of all, I'm not going to repeat everything. Rashad has some questions. What happened to the questions? Okay. So no more questions, but I'm not going to repeat all that was said. We feel good, and yes, this community, Homewood, is going to be addressed, it's going to carry priority, and it's going to have capital put into it. That is true. Now, as we go through our excitement, it's time for us to get busy as well. There's a lot of work for us to do as individuals in our blocks, in our houses, in our community, with our neighbors. There are several committees that I see are listed on the agenda: the Housing Committee, Education Committee, Public Safety Committee. These committees are very important because these are issues that will impact our growth. It has always impacted and it always will impact. So I think if the mayor were here, what he would ask you, as we are excited and we are going to capitalize on the development of this community as a continuum of what is happening across the city, is that now we, as the residents of Homewood Brushton, get busy. That means you work with your neighbors. That means you work on your block. That means you watch what's going on to make sure that whatever is built here will sustain itself, will remain. Case in point, I served on the Homewood Brushton Revitalization and Development Corporation years ago. And the one thing is that when they redid the Baxter School, they made that playground and they had that wall. We all know that wall that has public art. And the one thing we all stress as board members is that if you don't have the community buy-in, that means the community has to be part of this whole public art initiative to make sure that nothing happens to that art. No graffiti, no vandalism, no anything happens. Then it's owned by the community. It's owned. That makes a big difference than somebody just coming in and plopping something versus it belongs to the community. That you all were intricately involved in that project. My understanding is that public art is still good. That public art is still good. I served back in 1989, 1990, so it's been a long time. So we have to own the development. Owning it means being responsible for it and working towards it and working to sustain it. The education piece, as Rashad said, I was on the school board. I was president of the school board at one time. So education is near and dear to me. Yeah, I got 12 grandkids. Yeah, I know. 12 of them. So I'm very much so, always have been and always will be involved in education. We have to support our children and not just in lip service. No. We have to mentor. We have to take kids who otherwise would not be mentored in their own households, and we have to be an extended family. We cannot build Homewood unless you address these other committees. As a matter of public safety, the mayor wanted to expand crossing guards. That was an initiative. That was a recommendation that came out of my brother's Keeper initiative, an initiative of the White House, and it made sense, and I've always supported that.
You know what? I remember Miss Mott was my crossing guard going to Baxter Elementary School. I ain't gonna date myself, but y'all know when I went. Baxter, everybody know Miss Mott? Okay? She always said, hi Peaches, hi Honey, hi this, hi that. We always had names, and she switched it up all the time. You never know what she would say to you, but it always built those children up as we went to Baxter Elementary School. I remember her as being the eyes and ears for the children, for the safety in that community. This is why the mayor had wanted to expand the crossing guards. And we have Chief McLay here who can expound upon a number of initiatives that we would like to do. Why crossing guards? Because they're the eyes and ears. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. We don't have the money. We're still in Act 47. We still have some financial constraints. However, I don't think there's anybody here that can't stand on a corner and watch some kids walking down the street. We talk about our public safety, we're responsible for that. We're responsible for that. So again, it's up to us to not just strategize the capital development, but it's also up to us to make sure that we support it. You all are the infrastructure to whatever is going to happen. And if the infrastructure is poor, no matter what you build on it, it's going to fall. It's not going to be good. So the challenge for us is, what kind of infrastructure are we? What kind of infrastructure are we? It is up to the community to make sure that you are a solid infrastructure. You have to show that. You already are, but you got to show it and you got to put it into action as we build. So I'm excited about what has happened with this collaboration. Congratulations to all for coming together. And now it's time for us to get to work and build Homewood. Thank you on behalf of the mayor.
Thank you, Valerie. Before we bring a couple developers to the front to talk about 3 projects that's slated for Homewood, I'd first like to acknowledge some folks that's here. First and foremost, the previous speakers have acknowledged people like KVK Enterprise, strong business organization that have been supporting business growth, workforce development in the East End, and also they have hired quite a lot of MBWBs also. So I just want to acknowledge the president and CEO, Keith Key. Can you raise your hand, Keith? Give him a hand. And he has his team with him also. He always, when he travels, he travels strong. He got his whole team here with him. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Bridgeway Capital, Mark Peters. Raise your hand, Mark. A lot of y'all might not know Mark, but Mark is definitely investing in our community. He's doing a Susquehanna project. Matter of fact, my construction group is actually the GC on that project. It's a $1.5 million project, and we have hired at least 10 folks from our community, and we have at least 7 to 10 subcontractors up under the leadership of Johnny Comer, who is the vice president of my construction group. We'd like to acknowledge the YMCA that's here tonight. Julia, where you at? I saw you. The YMCA. Let's get the Y. They've been the Y's in the house. We also like to acknowledge someone that's from our community, but in a different capacity now, that's joining the Children's Village, as the executive director, Brother Fred. We want to welcome him to the community, but as we all know, Fred has been of the community for quite a long time anyway. But also we want to acknowledge Mrs. Savage. Mrs. Savage. I was talking to some of our elders earlier, and one of the sisters said, Rashad, I've been trying to call you. When the elders say, no matter how big you get in life, when the elders say, I've been trying to call you and get in contact with you, all you say, yes, ma'am. I've been working, I apologize. But I'm saying that to say that folks like Mrs. Savage, Mrs. Campbell, and so many other brothers and sisters that have been fighting this fight for 50 and 60 years, let's give them a hand. The elders of our community. and Valerie spoke of the building that we're in. We wouldn't be in this here building if it wasn't because of Father Taylor. Let's give Father Taylor a hand. Father Taylor, long history in the Homewood community. Father Taylor said, well, Rashad, I'm going to support you in, securing this here building, but this building have a history. I knew exactly what he meant. No nonsense in this here building. Holy Rosary School and Holy Rosary go way back in our community. So we got the faith-based community that's here, that's with us here today. And there's so many other people that's in the audience, that I would like to acknowledge, but because of the time restraints, we're gonna move forward. Also, I'd like to really acknowledge the Chief of Police and also Commander 5, Jason. Let's give them a hand. And we had County Exec Fitzgerald. We have someone in here from Senator Costa's office and Mike Doyle's office. I'll give them a hand. But foremost, who we have in here is us. Let's give us a hand. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is bring at least 3 developers to the front, because there's like 3 projects that's slated to break ground real soon, and we want them to give us a brief presentation of those projects. The first one we want to talk about is the SNA Homes Oxford Development Project.
Thanks, Rashad. This is fantastic. I was raised in church, and this is like a Wednesday night revival service, and in like a literal sense for this community. This is like something new and energetic, and I could not be more excited to be here. My name is Ben Kelly. I'm from Oxford Development Company. Oxford first was introduced to working in the Homewood community back in 2012 with the senior building that's down next to the busway. We worked really hard. Before the collaborative, this is such a positive thing that we have a single source, a community speaking with one voice about what their preferences are, what they want in their community, what you want in your community. We started in 2012. We worked really hard with Operation Better Block, Myatt, CEA, and with Bridge and Busway Plan, and it was a lot of effort. But through that, we were able to not only have the highest MBE participation of any residential project in the city's history, a lot of that through Rashad's efforts. We also had the highest number of community hires on that construction project that the city has ever seen on a construction project. So it was a lot of hard work, but it was really rewarding. So, Oxford has been blessed in this community. We've been here for over 50 years, and we would not be doing our duty as a good citizen of the city of Pittsburgh if we weren't only just building houses in the Strip District and only building houses in Shadyside and office buildings here and there, but actually rebuilding the city that built us. And that starts, for us at least, here in Homewood. The opportunity's here, the energy's here, the will is here, and from you all being here, it's evident. So the next phase, and I really was not prepared for this crowd, so these are the little puny placards that I brought, so I'm going to and I'll be available afterwards, through Rashad or Jerome, Better Block, somewhere. They'll be able to tell you more about the project in person, or you can contact me personally. But what we're looking at doing, if you can see from there, is 42 single-family homes, 2 and 3 bedrooms, clustered in Susquehanna Street, Tioga, and Pankey Avenue. These will all be low-income family rentals for the first 15 years. After that 15-year period, they'll be available to purchase with the person in residence at home having first option. So we're looking at programs to help people build equity for down payments if they're going to be in these houses long term. Looking to start construction early next year. Hopefully, we have to have them done by August of 2017. So, I know there's probably a good bit of demand. So as time goes on, I'll be at a lot of other community meetings, answering questions on how you can get on the list to find these houses. I'll have some placards. I'll put some stuff here at CEA and with Operation Better Block, some information on the design of the houses in case anyone's curious between now and these various meeting times. But that's really, I'm really excited to be here. Look forward to seeing all of you and get to know you more as we move forward. Thank you.
And because of the time restraints, when we finish, you can talk to some of these developers, some of the politicians, and also the collaborative members. We can stay in this building as long as we want to because I have the key. So when you own your own, see, you can make those type of decisions. That's what we're talking about this evening, empowering ourselves to own and control the space and the land that we're in. So I want to bring next up to the podium. Do we have someone in here that's representing the Kelly Green Project? The Kelly Green Project? Marita, is anyone here? Okay, we don't have no one representing the Kelly Green Project. Okay, what about the Animal Rescue League? These were two people that, okay, they're not here. Okay, no one gave me the memo that they wasn't here, but we're gonna get better at doing this here. So let's do this here, folks. We ask you to participate by signing up to be part of those committees. Valerie, identify what those committees are, and in your agenda, you have those committees also. So what we want to do now is we want to make sure, now I want somebody to stand back there at that door, Jeannie, because everybody that go out there, don't let nobody out there unless they signed up to be part of a committee. So what we're going to do now is we're going to network. We have some food left. You got Dan over here, you got Councilman Burgess, you have Paul, you have all our politicians in here with us, so we need to network with these here folks, share our business cards, and whoever signed up for those committees, we're going to be getting back with you within the next week. And I was amiss because when we have gatherings like this here, we don't have gatherings like this here unless we give, thanks to God above. So I want to end, Reverend Burgess, what you say in the prayer to end this here gathering. It was like I said, it's a celebrative time for us in Homewood. We're looking forward to the development and the growth in our community and developing old relationships as well as new relationships. Thank you for coming out. Let's give us a hand, please.
I appreciate the opportunity, but before I knew who I was, Father Taylor was my pastor. Father Taylor, where you at? Father Taylor, come to me, Father Taylor. And so I cannot pray beyond the person who used to pray for me. And so we're going to ask Father Taylor, and he is the oldest clergy in terms of service. He's the longest serving clergy member in Homewood. And he's the reason I've been married for 30 years.
It has been a joy, certainly, for me to participate in all of this. As I said, as I always tell people, I was pretty much the young kid on the block 41 years ago. Now I'm one of the elders. And I don't feel bad about that at all. I've tried to do what God wanted me to do, including making sure that Rashad got in this building. So he could do the kind of things that we're doing right now. So, Lord God, we just ask you to be with us tonight. We thank you for bringing us here. As was said, there were so many other things we could have done with our time, but we came here tonight because we want to invest in this community that we live in, that we love so much. Give us the spirit to go forth from here, join up with these committees and do what needs to be done so that the vision that we have talked about tonight will continue, and that our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren won't be looking for other neighborhoods to move to, but stay right here in Homewood. In your name we pray, amen.
Come on, you can do better than that. Put those hands, I told you, it's shouting time. Shout now.
All right, we can network. Let's make sure you get over here and sign up for a committee, please.